Hey!
Scared the out of me.
The wilderness has two faces. By day, it offers peace. By night, it reveals what it keeps hidden. Sounds without sources. Figures without names. What seems like nature's calm can become something far more unsettling. These are 6 of the most disturbing forest encounters ever caught on camera. On September 25th, 2022, Nick and Ted, creators of the YouTube channel The Hunting Public, set out for what was supposed to be a routine day in the woods. Their channel normally captures their hunting adventure. Disclaimer: no animals were harmed in this video. In the upcoming scenes may contain disturbing content. That morning, Nick and Ted rose early, determined to reach their spot before anyone noticed. They settled in, waiting, but the woods were silent. Hours passed without a single sign. By the afternoon, they changed course, choosing a remote public area. Once in position, they began waiting once again. But what they encountered next was something truly terrifying. At first, it sounded like nothing more than an angry voice. Someone shouting in frustration. Words echoing faintly through the trees. Was it an argument or just a man venting alone? Then the sound that changed everything. What clearly rang out as a gunshot? Was it a murder or another hunter in the woods? What happened next gave a possible conclusion on what's happening. That was a round emptied angrily. A man yelling, "I hate you!" The gunshot followed by the silence and multiple gunshots in a forest with no one else in sight. That clearly sounds like a murder.
I keep getting chills all down my back.
Yeah. Somebody is screaming at the absolute top of their lungs over there.
Very not good obscenities to someone else. Right before that last gunshot, it sounded like a truck revving up or something, like in gravel, throwing gravel or something.
Yeah.
And then that gunshot was like, that one sounded like a rifle. That last one, the other one sounded like a handgun. That last one, like,
you could make out a few things they were saying. It wasn't good.
Things we won't repeat on here, but it was like blood-curdling screaming. I've never witnessed anybody screaming like that. How close we would be to that.
We might have been able to see it.
Terrified, Nick and Ted didn't wait to find out. They quickly left the woods, made it back to their vehicles, and called the authorities. The encounter leaves a haunting impression. A quiet hunt derailed by the sounds of rage, pain, gunfire, and silence. What really happened out there? Was it a dispute between hunters or something no one was ever meant to witness? What's your take on this encounter? On October 21st, 2019, Sky from the Swamp Valley YouTube channel uploaded footage of his camping trip at Landfine Estate in Scotland. The area is usually a calm, popular route for walkers. But almost immediately after arriving, something feels wrong. He films everything on his phone, and what unfolds unsettles thousands of viewers. Not long into the hike, Sky notices a man following him. The figure lingers just far enough back to cause unease. Sky doesn't recognize him, and the intent is unclear. Nervous, he picks up his pace, glancing behind to make sure he isn't being cornered. Panic starts to build. Sky ducks into a dense section of the forest, crouching low, trying to stay out of sight.
I don't want to sound like a big pansy. This is really freaking me out. Somebody is actually following me, and it's freaky, man. Like, who the hell is that? Not messing about with that guy. Right, I am. I'm gonna walk faster. Get up to my pals. That's freaky, man. That is freaky. Just get beyond the joke.
The camera shows the man passing close by. Instead of leaving it there, Sky makes a bold choice. He trails the stranger from a distance, but the pursuit doesn't last. Before long, the man slips out of view, swallowed by the trees. Sky pauses, hiding among the undergrowth, and tries to reach his friends on the phone. But that's when everything takes a terrifying turn. As he crouches low, the man suddenly reappears, leaning directly above him. He tips what looks like gasoline towards Sky's position. Sky bolts, but now the stranger has a flaming torch in hand. Sky runs through the woods, slows down to catch his breath, only to find the figure cutting him off again.
Colin's like really just up there. And I don't know where he is. I give Colin a phone. Just tell him something he doesn't give. Don't end. Oh, Jesus! No! Oh! The fuck! Jesus! Oh, fuck, it stinks. Hell. Get the f*** away from me! Get the f*** away from me! No!
At the very last moment, his friends arrive, tracking his location after the desperate call. They intervene just in time, rushing him to the hospital. Against the odds, Sky survives. This time, no life was lost. but it leaves a chilling thought behind. What drives someone to stalk and hunt another person in the woods? What did you make of this encounter? Let me know. Brendan uploaded this video to his channel. Brendan explores, opening with the words, "This is the worst camping experience I've ever had." It began in Colton-on-Sea, a picturesque town on England's southeast coast. Just a short drive away 2 miles south sits another coastal settlement, Jwick. The contrast between the two couldn't be starker. Colton was once voted one of Britain's happiest towns, while Jwick carries the reputation of being England's most deprived. Curious, Brendan decided to see the difference for himself. He parked his van in Jwick overnight, determined to find out whether its reputation was deserved.
Good morning. Outside the back of a yuppie tennis court with a couple of Chelsea tractors hanging around. You join me in the heart of Cambridgeshire, following on from last week's video when we explored the beautiful city of Cambridgeshire, cooked up a lovely pizza in the back of this van. Today we take our adventure to the coast. The eventual goal of today's video is to go and visit, or possibly drive through, Clacton-on-Sea and finish our adventure at a little town in England called Jwick, coined as one of the most deprived towns in the UK. And I thought, as soon as I'm in the area, I just had to go and see it. After chucking a cup of tea down my neck, it was time to hit the road and make our way to the first stop of the day. So here we are, in a place called Dedham. Greeted by the local swans and, what are those birds? Pigeons? Yeah, sounds about right.
At first, nothing seemed unusual. The day passed quietly, and as evening approached, Brendan moved his van to a spot where he planned to camp for the night. He parked, settled in, and began preparing for the night ahead. But at 2:30 a.m., Brendan learned exactly why Jwick's reputation was so grim. He was jolted awake by the sound of his door handle rattling. Before he could react, the intruder smashed his window. Brendan shouted, and instantly the stranger fled into the darkness. That was enough. Brendan decided the night was over. He started up his van and left, unwilling to risk another confrontation or to find out what might happen if the man returned.
I think someone's outside the van. Someone just tried the door.
Hey! Right, whoever the that was has now gone. I'm gonna get out of here. Oh my god. Oh, fuck's sake. Where's my phone?
Looking back, Brendan admits the experience was frightening, but it hasn't stopped him from camping. He simply says he'll be more cautious about where he chooses to spend the night in the future. It's a reminder that sometimes the real dangers aren't the wilderness or the weather, but the places we trust to be safe. What would you have done in Brendan's situation? Black Crag, a YouTuber devoted to documenting his hiking journeys through trails, forests, and remote landscapes, set out for another adventure. His channel is usually calm and reflective, focused on peaceful trees and quiet nights under the stars, often with his loyal dog Finn by his side. This time, His destination was Sotherfell in the Lake District, a hill steeped in legend with stories of strange sightings and even reports of a ghostly army marching across its slopes. He arrived with the hope of catching something unusual, but what unfolded that night would be nothing like he expected.
It's Midsummer's Eve. The year is 1735, and a local man spies what he believes to be a gigantic army marching across the ridge of a nearby hill. This procession goes on most of the night, and the following morning he goes up to the hill and finds absolutely no trace of an army whatsoever. No footprints, no hoofprints. 2 years later, on Midsummer's Eve, several other people see exactly the same thing, a gigantic army marching across the ridge. They then proceed to tell other locals about what they saw that night, and nobody believes them. Fast forward 10 years to 1745, and 26 people witness an enormous army marching across the ridge of this same hill. And again, this went on all night, and the ranks were 5 men deep. And these 26 people that witnessed this army marching along the ridge of Sotherfell were deemed sober and respected. Today is Midsummer's Eve, and this is Sotherfell. It's also our room for the night. I think what we're going to do is we're going to set up our tent here. This is the southern end of Sotherfell, because this one gives us the fantastic view out towards Blencathra right there. So without further ado, let's get the tent up.
He pitched his tent and began to settle in, spending some lighthearted time with Finn. The evening still carrying the calm rhythm his viewers were used to. At one point, Black even remarked that he wasn't a fan of ghosts or anything supernatural. Yet, the events of this night would test that belief. After exploring a short distance from his camp, he returned only to notice something unsettling. Inside the tent, he tried to explain what had rattled him so deeply.
What the hell? There's a bloke stood next to my tent. What the f***? That has absolutely scared the shit out of me. I'm not kidding you. I was walking down there, coming back towards the tent, talking to you guys. I'm telling you right now, there was somebody stood right here. Oh, I'm not kidding you, the hairs on my arms are stood up. My skin is crawling. Right there. Finn's just oblivious to me. Right, there's no way I'm staying here tonight. No way. I can't stay here. Okay, we're in the tent. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what the hell I saw then. I don't know whether I saw. Maybe it might have been my imagination now. Honestly, I don't know. But flipping heck, that really spooked me. Really, really spooked me. We're just gonna try and get a bit of game and see how we get on. Finn's down.
What he described was the shadow of a man lingering near his shelter, as if someone or something had been watching. A fleeting moment, but enough to leave him shaken. Encounters like this blur the line between imagination and reality. Was it a trick of the light, or something more? As always, I'd love to hear what you think about this encounter. Sean runs a popular camping YouTube channel called Love Sundays, where he usually documents peaceful trips into some of the most remote parts of the UK. His content is lighthearted and adventurous, often just him, his van, and the wilderness. But on the 11th of February, 2024, he uploaded a video that unsettled both him and his viewers. What was meant to be a quiet solo trip would take a disturbing turn. Once Sean parked his van on the side of a remote road, he set off on a hike through the forest, enjoying the calm of the afternoon. Hours later, the light began to fade. Sean made his way back to the van and settled in for the night.
So I kind of feel like it would be rude not to go for a little wander in the woods while we're here. Get back to nature. How am I going to overcome this? Do some climbing. I mean, it's just padlocked. There's no signs that say keep out, so I'm going in. Easy enough. It really is quite beautiful, just the way that the sun's kind of like coming through the trees. This is the end of the track, so it looks like I'm gonna have to go off-road. There seems to be a lot of trees down around here, and it's definitely not from the storms, because there's like tree stumps everywhere. But even though these ones here look like they were cut down, but that one there has been blown over because all the roots are up. If it was a windy day today, I would be like, yeah, not going in there. The last thing I want is a tree to fall and hit me on the head. This was pleasant. I think I've exhausted that. Might head back to the van for a non-alcoholic beer.
At first, everything felt routine, just another quiet evening in nature. But the peace wouldn't last. At 3 a.m., Sean was jolted awake by the sound of a car pulling up directly beside his van, out here, miles from anyone else. That alone was unnerving. Then came footsteps, slow, deliberate, circling his van. Sean froze, heart racing. Convinced someone was trying to break in, every instinct told him to start the engine and drive, but fear rooted him in place.
The car's just pulled up, and it sounds like they're walking around the van. So, I was just woken up because I heard a car pull up, and it was at the front of the van. So I got up, turned my phone on, and filmed. And as soon as I drew the curtains back, they drove off. They got to the end of the road, turned around, and then came back and parked behind the van. I don't even know, like, what, they just think that there's just some random van parked here that they might be able to break into, or I don't know, but it's a little bit freaky. It makes me kind of like, I'm not moving, but I don't want somebody breaking in thinking there's no one in here, because that would be a right pain. Hopefully I'll get a good night's sleep.
Eventually, the noises faded. Whoever it was left, but their presence had already shaken Sean to the core. By morning, things got worse. As Sean prepared to leave, he stepped outside and made a terrifying discovery. His van doors had been zip-tied shut from the outside, locking him in. He managed to cut himself free, but that's when he noticed something even more disturbing. Fingerprints smeared across the van's exterior. Whoever had been out there had tried to get inside, and the zip ties suggested something even more sinister, that they wanted to make sure Sean couldn't escape.
Well, I think we should at least go outside and see how miserable the weather is. My door's stuck. What the actual... See that? I don't even think I can shut the door on it. So when I said I got left alone last night, it doesn't look like I did get left alone, does it? I didn't even hear anyone out on the side door. Right, I've got to work out how to do this. It's a good job I haven't got a bulkhead. There we go. Oh, it's miserable out here. So there's obviously just people wanting to f*** about and just be funny, I guess, but how dangerous is that, locking someone in their van?
Luckily, they hadn't tampered with the back doors. If they had, Sean admitted he might have been trapped completely. Shaken, Sean ended the video with a reflection. I came here thinking the woods would be the scariest part of the trip, but it's other people that we should really be worried about. On October 2nd, 2016, hiker James Rankin set out for what was meant to be a normal day in Berkeley-Jackson County Park. The woods here are quiet, often overlooked, a place where hikers usually find peace. But on this day, James would uncover something far more disturbing than a forgotten trail. As he moved deeper into the forest, he came across an old campsite. At first, it seemed ordinary, just another fire pit, a crude shelter, but what surrounded it sent a chill through him. Taped to the trees were dozens of missing person posters. They weren't fakes or props or weather decorations. They were real faces and names of people who had vanished across multiple U.S. states.
Do you see the trees? Look at the white shit. Okay. I was like, okay, these are probably no trespassing signs, or maybe it's something for the wildlife or something. And look, we're bordered on all sides by hills. Anyone with any sense of strategy or tactics, let's, being in the center of a bunch of hills is tactically disadvantageous because people can hide on the tops and throw things or shoot at you. Anyway, I'll cut right to the chase because I might die. Look what these are. What the is going on in here? And this isn't like woods I've never been to. Like, I've been here before. I've been here a lot. I've been here so much, I've actually been to the hospital getting stitches because of some of the adventures that I've had. That's beside the point. These are all different people. And they're all just... This is Utah, Florida. They're all different. They're all different. Every single one. This one's from Georgia. And look at this shit. Like, look where the we are. Who the does something like this?
From where he stood, he could still see the fire pit and the structure that looked like a makeshift shelter. But James kept his distance. The thought of stepping closer weighed on him. Whoever created this scene might still be nearby. He pressed on cautiously and found more of the same poster after poster taped along the trees like a macabre trail. The woods felt different now, charged with the suggestion that he wasn't alone. James E5 thought to himself, he wasn't armed, he wasn't prepared, this wasn't his fight.
You gotta understand, if that is somebody's property, and I'm pretty sure that it is, considering you can hear the traffic coming from that direction, considering this is the side of the woods where people's property be at, and considering that's this is bad. I do not have a gun. All I got is this, which incidentally was my birthday present to myself. This is the Kabar bacon maker, which is just perfect. But I mean, what am I gonna do against a guy with a gun? You know what I mean? What's this one? Christopher, Oregon. Fucking spider webs. And we got this one, and this obviously, you could tell these aren't new. Like, not just that this is 2012, Noblesville, Indiana, right? Look at the water damage. These have been hanging up for a while. And look at this, like, just look at this. Who the is gonna decorate this? What the This guy's a grown-up. "2009, Burbank, California. 2009.
Instead of pushing further, he turned back, leaving the forest behind and reporting what he'd found to the police. But the questions never left him. Who had put those posters there? Was it a twisted warning, a ritual, or the trace of something darker lurking in the forest? Out here, abandoned campsites are common, but abandoned campsites lined with the faces of the missing, those are something else entirely. What do you think James really stumbled into that day?